our lives have changed, and it feels like they're changing from week to week. I mean, our schedules, the things that we can do, everything is different now. But different doesn't necessarily mean bad. We're going to be starting a new series today called Survive and Thrive, where we're going to be looking at different stories of people in the Bible where their lives have changed and how they figured out a way to survive and thrive. To start us off in this new series, we'll be going through the story of someone whose life got changed in a really dramatic way, Daniel. Now, if you've been around church for a while, you're pretty familiar with the story, but if not, Jessi is going to give us a quick recap, and you should also try to watch this Bible Project video. Hope this works. I don't know how to do this stuff yet. Anyway, take it away, Jessi.
Thanks, Willy. So here's a few things about Daniel. Daniel was a young dude. He was probably a teenager around our age, so we can relate to him. He was living life to the fullest with the royal family. But then everything changed. His country was taken over by Babylon. And when that happened, everything he knew was thrown out the window. He had to learn a new culture, a new language. He pretty much had to learn everything new all over again. He had to start a new life. And instead of being overwhelmed and quitting, he knew what was important to him. See, we can relate to Daniel in that way, where things are thrown out the window. But there's a way not only to survive, but to do good. So let's take a look at some of the things that Daniel did through his life that he was thriving and how we can apply it to ourselves. There's 3 lessons and 3 chapters. Let's go.
1. Take care of yourself. One of the first things that happens in Daniel chapter 1 is that King Nebuchadnezzar tries to change the way that Daniel and his friends eat. He says, here's all these fancy foods and all these meats, and Daniel says, nah man, it's veggies for me. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself as this time when everything is changed. Make sure that you're eating vegetables, drinking enough water from your Visco Girl Hydro Flask, and exercising from time to time. You may not know this, but taking care of your physical health is an important part of your mental, emotional, and even spiritual health. Make sure that you're eating vegetables. If you think about it, Daniel was basically the OG vegan. So to get you started with some ideas, maybe here's one of my favorite vegan recipes, Thai curry noodles. All right, take half an onion and give it a whoop-ah! Nice little chop. Throw it into a pot preheated with some oil. After that, take a few cloves of garlic, smash them down. When the onions are cooked, throw the garlic in too. Now this is Thai red curry paste. You want to be careful with how much you're using because it's pretty spicy. I use about 2 globs that size. It's basically just mushed chilies and vegetables, so you want to throw it in there and give it a saute along with the onions and the garlic. When it's pretty good, go ahead and throw in a whole can of coconut milk. Now you're going to want to stir and try to mash up all the globs of chili paste and scrape up all the stuff on the bottom. You can add whatever vegetables you want, but I got tofu and a bunch of spinach that's about to go bad, so I'm going to throw that in there too. Next, you want to just cook your noodles. I use just regular instant noodles and save the sauce packet for something else. Plate it with some green onions and a little bit of peanuts, and you're good to go. Get those veggies. Feel good. So I was editing this video and I never thought to check the ingredients in curry paste, and it turns out there's shrimp in it, so it's not actually vegan. Oops. Back to you, Jessi.
Number 2, Daniel knew when to ask for help. Like Willy just said, Daniel took care of himself, but when he was struggling, he knew he could ask others for help. In the 2nd chapter, Nebuchadnezzar has a dream that no one can interpret. The king gets really upset no one can interpret this dream. But Daniel goes to the king and asks him for some time so that he can go home to his boys and pray to God about it. See, things may be difficult and some things that we're not used to, but it's always good to ask for help. Whether it be from a parent, a teacher, a small group leader, anyone really. And it can be about anything. Whether it's about life, about homework, just someone to talk to about things. There's always someone here for you who love you and want to help you.
Number 3. Daniel and his homeboys trusted God no matter what. And to illustrate this, I've set up a little demonstration. In Daniel chapter 3, King Nebuchadnezzar makes a law where he says, "You must worship a statue of me." Rawr. But Daniel's boys, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were like, no, bro, and kept worshiping God. This got them in a lot of trouble. And King Nebuchadnezzar was like, "What? You dare defy me? Throw them into the blazing furnace." Then Daniel's boys were thrown into the furnace. Typical dictator move, if you ask me. Anyway, there's this line that they say that's kind of crazy. If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve will deliver us from it and from your majesty's hand. But if he does not, we want you to know, your majesty, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold you have set up. That's wild. They know that God's looking out for them, but still trust him even if he doesn't. That is loyalty, my friends. So our lives are really crazy right now, but how many of us can truly trust God and say, God will save me, but even if he doesn't, God is still good. Everything is different now, but that doesn't mean you can't thrive. We're going to be looking at how we can live the life God is asking us to, even though we're in a different time or place than we're used to. Because even when we're disappointed or confused or just frustrated and bored, God is still good. Like Pastor Elwin and a lot of other wise people say, God is good all the time, and all the time, God is good. We've got some exciting stuff coming up for you live, so follow us on Instagram, like and subscribe on YouTube, join the Discord, join a small group. You don't want to miss this. Shoots.